Hey, what's up guys? John here. Mortgage rates are going sky high, and there's new technology that I think is going to impact every single homeowner in America. Now I'm going to walk you through first the mortgage rates, then I'll get to the tech in a second. Mortgage rates now, they're saying it's about 5.23%, and now the rates are back up after 3 straight weeks of decline, right? So 5.23%. A lot of people are probably saying, hey, that's not too bad. It's not horrible. We're kind of getting used to these higher rates. But the reality is you're only getting that 5.25% if you have strong savings, really stable job, and great credit. 750 credit score or more. But the reality is that most people in America have a 698. That's the average credit score in America, 698. And so when you're looking to get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, the average credit score, 698, is getting you a 6.324%. So maybe you'll get lucky and find a 5.9. Maybe you'll get lucky and find a 6%, right? You're only getting those great rates if you have a 740 and above, really strong credit. So otherwise, you're getting stuck in that in the sixes. And so what does this look like for a traditional buyer? That's the big question. So 8 months ago, you could get a 2.85%. So on a $500,000 purchase, let's say you have $100,000 down because you're very responsible, able to save up your money, right? Which is very hard to do today with inflation and rising gas prices. Your monthly payment is about $2,750 a month, right? Now with today's rates, now it's $3,575 every single month. That is significant, not including the increased cost of insurance, because insurance is going up in many markets, especially in Florida, right? So everything is going up, and so are the housing payments. The difference is about an extra $10,000 per year in just housing costs, just principal, interest, tax, insurance, right? Now, what we're seeing here, though, is they say we've seen a lot of cancellations recently. We have in the years prior, right? People are hesitant to make the decision to purchase. But for the most part, we still have a lot of activity in the buyer's market. And I agree. I'm seeing a lot of activity as well. But I think that this activity is mainly built on FOMO, fear of missing out. People are really anxious to get into a property, plus rents are really high. And so if they can escape renting at today's rates and go buy something, people are really inclined to, to explore that further. But here's what I think could potentially happen very soon. Now, there's this new technology called 3D home printing, and essentially what it is it's robotics based, where they can build properties fast. I mean, like in a weekend, they could build a whole house. And you might have 1 or 2 humans overseeing the tech of the actual development. And maybe they'll go in there and they'll, move a piece of wood, or they'll do like one small little thing here and there. But for the most part, 99.9% of the entire property is built by robotics. And they're able to build these homes cheaper than you could replace a roof on your house. So here's what's going on. America's first fully permitted 3D home took twice as long to print and cost more than double what its backers expected, yet it was far from a failure. The 350 square foot house was set to be printed a total of 24 hours over the course of several days by the South by Southwest Interactive Conference in 2018. Unfortunately, storms and a record-setting rainfall swept that city that week, causing it to take 48 hours. The construction cost for the prototype one bedroom was $10,000, exceeding the startup of their long-term goal of $4,000 a house. $4,000 a house, they can build it in 24 hours, right? Or 48 hours, that one. If they can do it at 10,000, right? Think about that. The average rent in America, probably somewhere between, $1,200 and $18 a month, right? It's pretty expensive. If you're in a nice, desirable area, maybe you're $2,500, $3,000 a month. And so people have the option of even moving out into the desert in Texas, or moving into the Midwest, or moving, outside of the city, and these properties start being built in mass. I think there could be a couple of unique things here. I think one, it's going to turn more into like a RenterNation type society, because people that own these properties, think about it. If you have a property and it costs you $10,000 to build it, on $10,000 to build this house, and you can rent out the units for, let's call it a flat $500 a month. In 2 years, you would get your entire investment back. In 2 years, right? But they're aiming for $4,000 is the end goal. So they would be able to get their entire investment back in 10 months, and then every single month it rents after that is just profit, right? I think that this is going to be a very big thing, especially when we look into who's involved. We have Cemex, which is the 5th largest building materials company in the world. Silca, which is a Swiss chemical giant with a current market cap of $38 billion. Saint-Gobain, one of the world's oldest and biggest construction materials multinationals, revenues of $47 billion. And then also, Dubai is saying that they want 25% of their buildings to be 3D printed by 2030, right? And so we're moving in this direction. Am I saying it's going to happen immediately? No. But what I think could very well happen, I think this could be a really unique situation, is that the last couple of years we've seen massive rent growth, especially in Tampa and all these desirable markets, as much as 30 to 100% rent growth. So rents have been going through the roof. But imagine if you were in Austin and 15 miles or 20 miles or 30 miles out, they started building all these properties, and people could have the option of spending $500 or going to spend $2,000. They're probably going to spend the $500, and then they're going to commute into town. What I think could happen is we could start to see a lot of these properties being built, and then the demand for the other rentals are going to start coming down. And as demand starts going down, prices will come down. And as that begins to happen, what would ultimately happen is landlords might not be able to hold on to their buildings, which would then push them into distress, right? If this did eventually happen, then the investors that purchase these properties, or any investor really, be able to go in there and scoop up great deals, great real estate deals. I think that we're stepping into an affordability crisis, and I think that knowing housing is probably 40 to 50% of one's gross monthly income, if they're able to reduce the cost of housing, that person is going to win on both ends, on the housing end and then also on the acquisition end, with seizing up all the distress in the real estate space. So I think we are going to be stepping into some very, very interesting times here. And when you look at the quality of construction, what they're building, I mean, they're able to build these properties so fast. They just roll it just like that. And, it's just one after the other. They can just build it so quick. So I think that this is definitely going to be a trend. I think it's going to be something real, and I think it's going to be something that happens. I know they've been working on this for a while, but I see that the progression in technology and the advancements in AI and robotics, this is going to be in the future. It's going to be interesting to see how this impacts affordability, how this impacts real estate across the entire market. Let me ask you, if you owned a property, and let's say it's an older property, maybe 1950s, 1960s, but you constantly have to fix up the property. You have to flip a new roof on it. You have to do, plumbing. You have sewer issues. You constantly have problems. Once a year you have a big bill that comes, maybe 10 or 15,000. Would you be tempted to rip the house down entirely and spend $5,000 or $10,000 in build, or maybe even, let's say you do something really nice, $15,000, $20,000 for a beautiful 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom house that's completely done, and they can do it in a weekend. You can go on a trip, come back on a weekend, and then boom, it's done, right? Would you do that? I think we could see a lot of people saying yes. I think we could see this really being a really big change across all markets in America. I think this could be really, really big. And I think that rising interest rates right now are going to really start pushing people into this affordability problem, and they're all going to be begging for a solution. Renters, home buyers, everybody's going to be looking for a solution. I mean, we got over $1 trillion, $1.1 trillion in credit card debt, 1.7 trillion student loans. I mean, the debt that we have in this country is through the roof. So anyone that can bring down housing costs, that's going to be the real winner. What do you think about this entire situation? Drop your comments below. Hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content to educate more people about what's going on in the real estate space. Subscribe. Also subscribe to my second YouTube channel, which is going to be a podcast and an interactive call-in show starting this week. I'm really looking forward to it. And also LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, everything is in the banner. But drop your comments below. Let me know what you're thinking. Would you support this? Do you think this is a great thing? Do you think that this is going to have a lot of demand across renters and home buyers and home sellers? Do you think people are just going to start to really second guess the current strategy and start looking at this, that they can save substantially? Drop below, let's talk about it, and I'll catch you in the next video.